Ice up. Ice what?
Whoa, whoa, baby, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
What is up, everybody? So I'm getting back to my old ways of pre-recording videos. That way they won't be as rushed and put out at 7 p.m. And ever since I started doing that, my videos have been tanking. So we're going to get back to pre-recording. Everything's getting back to normal. It's going to be okay. But pre-recording gives me literally so much more flexibility as far as messing up, being able to go back and edit it in time, put intros, outros, background music, all of that fantastic stuff, and get stuff out on time and not have to stress out about it. So from now on, I know you guys literally do not care, but I'll be recording the night before now. That way, everything will be set up and perfect for when I upload it the next day. So today, because it is Thursday, is going to be the New Orleans Saints versus Carolina Panthers key matchups to watch. Now, it's really good that I'm getting this one out of the way because I have missed 3 straight orthodontist appointments and I have a catch-up appointment tomorrow, and it's going to be tough. My mouth is going to be absolutely destroyed afterwards, so having the next 2 videos pre-recorded is going to be pretty helpful. So, Saints versus Panthers key matchups to watch. It's always an interesting one. A division rival. Why wouldn't you want to cover this video? So, there's always going to be a similar batch of players I always want to keep an eye on because, come on, you cannot not watch these matchups. They're absolutely insane. The Saints versus Panthers, it's one that we haven't been able to cover this year. The New Orleans Saints haven't played them yet. So it's going to be a very interesting game. We do not know the tempo, the pace, or the competition that the Saints versus Panthers games are going to bring us this year. They could be offensive. They could be defensive. It's always something different with these two teams. The Atlanta games are always competitive. They're always either really high scoring or middle scoring. They're never low scoring. And now you have a Saints versus Panthers game. The score was decided by 3 points. I think it was like 12-9 last year in one of the games. You never know. You never know. So it's always going to be an interesting game to cover, an interesting series to cover, and an interesting team matchup to cover. But let's go ahead and dive into the individuals a little bit and cover what I think are the most interesting player versus player matchups this game has to offer. So the first I'd like to cover is, of course, Michael Thomas versus James Bradberry. Now, Michael Thomas is probably going to be a premier player in almost all of these videos. I could say the same with Marshawn Lattimore, but he did not practice today, even though it was just a light walkthrough. We'll know more about his status after this video comes out, but he is not included in this video because the Panthers don't really have a number 1 wide receiver either. But Michael Thomas will almost always be one of those players that gets showcased in these videos because his matchups are always so interesting. Michael Thomas has 94 receptions on the year already. That's an NFL record. Michael Thomas is the first player in NFL history with 90-plus receptions in his team's first 10 games. Michael Thomas is on pace to beat the single-season reception record set by Marvin Harrison. It's 143. He's on pace to have more than 143 receptions and I believe 1,800 yards. Thomas has 1,141 yards on the season, which is first in the NFL, 94 receptions, which is first in the NFL as well, and 5 touchdowns, which is tied with the 9th place in the NFL. Michael Thomas has also not dropped a pass since Week 7 of 2018 and has recorded 188 straight receptions since that drop, not including pass deflections and bad passes. Michael Thomas has an 88.5 Pro Football Focus grade and I believe an 82-point-something% catch percentage. He has been absolutely amazing. He's having a record-breaking season, and to think that there has been a year, every single year Michael Thomas has been in the league since coming in, he has had 90 receptions. He's been a problem since he stepped onto the field. The dude is fantastic. If he keeps this pace up, barring any significant injury down the road, Michael Thomas could finish his career as the greatest wide receiver in NFL history, just based off of pure statistics. It's literally insane. If he gets his touchdown numbers up, it's kind of hard to debate. But James Bradberry has been a very serviceable corner this year. He's been solid this season. James Bradberry has 51 targets, has allowed 36 receptions, that's the 25th best. That's the 25th best in the NFL. But he has 3 interceptions as well to go with that, and a 65.7 Pro Football Focus grade. Wow, I stumbled on my words a little bit. Bradberry has been good against Michael Thomas as well, which is definitely something that is very, very, very big. That's a huge accomplishment for James Bradberry. In 6 regular season matchups between these two players, James Bradberry has pretty much gotten the best of Michael Thomas every single time. In 6 regular season games, Thomas has been held to under 100 yards and with less than 7 catches. The only exception being the 2017 wildcard game where Michael Thomas exploded for 131 yards. Last year, Michael Thomas was held to 49 yards in the first meeting and 29 yards in the second meeting. So James Bradberry has definitely fared pretty well with Michael Thomas. Pretty well. He's fared excellent with him. Holding a Michael Thomas to under 50 yards in 2 straight matchups is genuinely insane. 6 matchups without allowing 100 yards. He's played great against Mike Evans and Julio Jones as well, which are the other top 3 NFL wide receivers all in the same division. James Bradberry has been a very good corner, and definitely this is a extremely, extremely interesting matchup to watch because James Bradberry's been good against Michael Thomas, but Michael Thomas is having the best year of his career, the best year in football, he's the best wide receiver in football. So seeing him against James Bradberry, who has gotten the best of him in years past, is going to be amazing because ever since Michael Thomas got paid, a whole new monster got unleashed. So make sure to watch that matchup. I'm going to give the edge a 50-50 split because I genuinely don't know who's going to get the better in this matchup just based off of history and fairness. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is it's always beautiful to watch. Luke Kuechly, one of the smartest players in NFL history, a true team leader, one of the best linebackers of all time. Yeah, I said it. Luke Kuechly is fantastic, and Alvin Kamara is a young gun that can make people miss, so automatically you have an interesting matchup here, but it's not just versus Luke Kuechly. It's Alvin Kamara versus the entire Carolina Panthers run defense, which has been extremely lackluster this season, especially off of what they've hoped for. They hope for a lot better of a run defense, but their pass rush has been fantastic. Let's go ahead and get into the statistics of that. Alvin Kamara is slowly returning to form after missing a few games, battling knee and ankle injuries. Last week, Alvin Kamara had 13 carries, 75 yards, 5.8 yards per carry against Tampa Bay's number 2 ranked running defense in the entire NFL. He did a good job against that run defense. Should have had a touchdown, but it got negated by a Jared Cook holding penalty. He also had 10 catches for 47 yards that game, which is genuinely, he had 10 targets, 10 catches. He didn't drop a ball. The dude played absolutely fantastic on all levels of the field. Carolina's rush defense has been horrible. They've been allowing 128.4 yards per game, 27th in the league, and 4.9 yards per carry, which is 29th in the league. But they've been the best on covering receiving backs. They've allowed the lowest yardage totals to running back receptions in the entire NFL. Very interesting statistic there. The pass rush for the Carolina Panthers has been absolutely insane. 39 sacks, tied most in the NFL. Besides the Atlanta game, though, the New Orleans Saints have allowed 13 sacks, 19, including that fluke loss to Atlanta in which they allowed 6. So the New Orleans Saints run offensive line blocking, God, I cannot talk, and the Carolina Panthers defensive line rush defense is going to be a very, very, very interesting matchup, especially with Alvin Kamara being as explosive as he is. He has been getting back to his old ways after resurfacing from that injury. He looked like his old self against the Tampa Bay on a few burst plays. He's making people miss again, catching balls out of the backfield and taking them the distance. That is the Alvin Kamara we all know and love, and I expect him to continue his good trend upwards this week. I do believe Luke Kuechly is a fantastic player. Luke Kuechly, actually, I'm going to pull up an article for you real quick and read it straight off the paper because Luke Kuechly has a very high praise for Alvin Kamara. This is what Luke Kuechly had to say about Alvin Kamara. Slippery. That's the best way I could describe Alvin Kamara. He's one of the most unique guys to tackle because it's almost like he invites contact, but not in a way when he's trying to run you over. He kind of sets you up because he's very good at twisting and contorting his body to make himself into a smaller target. When he's in the open field, he'll come right at you, he'll let you square him up, and then right at the point of contact, he'll twist his body, and instead of putting your helmet in his chest and stopping his momentum, all of a sudden, you're off to his side trying to make an arm tackle. The key is that he does this without sacrificing his momentum. He's running downhill, full speed, still making guys miss. So when you watch the film, he always looks so smooth, like he just kind of glides. It looks effortless. I remember the first time we played against him back in 2017. It was early in his rookie year, so we didn't have a lot of film and didn't know much about him. Then, in the fourth quarter, he broke a 25-yard run for a touchdown. That was the play where we all kind of looked at each other and were like, whoa, that guy's pretty good. And it's not like it was some highlight reel run. He didn't do anything crazy. It's just the way he slid through all the traffic at the line of scrimmage and then had to burst to get to the sideline and the strength to break the tackle into the end zone. But I don't think the Saints have ever had one guy who can do it all. But with Kamara, you have to respect the whole playbook. But, man, it's tough to play against. So, in essence, Luke Kuechly respects what Alvin Kamara can do. He attributes Alvin Kamara to being able to do everything, absolutely everything. He put him already. This is Alvin Kamara's third year. Luke Kuechly has already notched Alvin Kamara as one of the most difficult players he's ever played against. Definitely a very interesting matchup. I think Kamara has the edge here. Not because Luke Kuechly, he's going to get the best of Luke Kuechly. I just do not trust the 30th overall ranked Carolina Panthers run defense to stop somebody like Alvin Kamara. So let's go ahead and move on to my next matchup. This one is fairly interesting, to say the least. The New Orleans Saints secondary has been on absolute fire, and Kyle Allen has not. He's been on the absolute downfall. Kyle Allen versus the Saints secondary is going to be a nice matchup to watch. Kyle Allen is 1-3 after starting 4-0 this season. He threw 4 interceptions against Atlanta, and since Week 6, Kyle Allen hasn't had a passer rating above 85.0. So, defenses have been getting the best of Kyle Allen. He's been looking like the backup quarterback that he's supposed to be. Pretty much all conversations of him staying in Carolina and starting over Cam Newton and Cam Newton being able to go to different teams, it's just kind of flown out the window. The dude sucks right now. Pardon my French, but it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see this matchup, genuinely, because the New Orleans Saints defense has been on a hot streak, and the secondary has been a very, very, very large part of that. Now, I'm trying to find a statistic. Here it is. The Saints defense, without Marshawn Lattimore, snagged 4 interceptions, had 4 passes deflected, 2 sacks, and a touchdown. Absolutely insane. A big reason has been all-pro safety, all-pro caliber safety, Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams' numbers in coverage this season read as follows: 15 targets, 7 catches, 73 yards allowed, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, 49.3 passer rating allowed, and a 90.9 coverage grade. Marcus Williams has sneakily been the best safety in the National Football League. Don't argue with me. Go look at Pro Football Focus. Go look at the stats. You go look at the numbers. Marcus Williams is the best safety in the NFL, and the rest of the defense piggybacks off that. We've been playing amazing. 4 interceptions last week against Jameis Winston. Kyle Allen threw 4. The Carolina Panthers offense might be in a bit of trouble. They might have to rely on Christian McCaffrey, who, against the New Orleans Saints, very, very, very stout, top 10 run defense. Going to be quite a problem. But that's all I really got for today, boys. I think the Saints secondary has the edge against Kyle Allen and the Carolina Panthers offense. I do think it's going to be a bit of a far margin as far as this game goes, but you guys will get my predictions here in a couple of days. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and like, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff. I appreciate you stopping by. Go ahead and comment what you think your key matchups are, what you think is going to be the most interesting matchup to watch, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Adios.
Ballin' like Barkley, wrist so special.